Hello. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Crime in Court. My name is Heather, and I am here with episode 7 of the Canton cover-up Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. And this whole episode is going to be about Brian Lucky Loughran. And what did he see? Brian is the plow driver who came by 34 Fairview Road that night when John's body was supposedly laying in the snow. Had Karen hit him several hours earlier. So, without further ado, I want to get into it. I'll read it. This little overview is from Alan Jackson. It's the supplemental affidavit of Alan J. Jackson in support of the motion order pursuant to Mass R. Crim P17, whatever that is, directed to the Canton Department of Public Works and the Canton Town Clerk. All right, so Alan J. Jackson, Esquire, under oath, do depose and state as follows. 1. I am partner at the firm Worksman, Jackson & Quinn, LLP. I represent defendant Karen Reed, pro hoc vice, which my understanding is that that means just this one time that he's representing her. But since then, or at least, since September, he's been her attorney. So I don't know why that it would be like just this one time. But maybe I've got the wrong idea of what that meaning is, but let me know if there's any lawyers in the comments or if you know what pro hoc vj means. I thought it meant just this one time only, but I believe he's already been signed on as her attorney for a while at this point. I'm not sure. Anyways, 2. I submit this supplemental affidavit on personal knowledge in support of defendant's motion for order pursuant to that Mass Crim P directed to the Canton Department of Public Works, the DPW. And that is important because they want the Canton Town Clerks, also the Canton Town Clerk, to give over snowplow records, because originally the defendants were told by the prosecution that there were no snowplows that night or something along those lines, or they faked a snowplow. Potentially they faked a plow company that came by, but I'm not sure. Anyways, don't quote me on that. I'm not alleging anything against anybody. So, something I just heard. I read a lot of comments and things, so it could have just been speculation. But anyways, number 3. On Friday, September 1st, 2023, Ms. Reed filed Defendant's Rule 17 motion for DPW snowplow records requesting GPS data from the DPW issued snowplows responsible for plowing the roadway immediately adjacent to the Albert residence on January 29th, 2022. You can't get much clearer than the way that they worded that. They want the GPS of all the snowplows that are responsible for plowing the road near the Albert home. As well, they should get it. That is discovery, and it could provide exculpatory evidence. In support of that motion, Ms. Reed released for the very first time information concerning an extraordinarily exculpatory interview conducted by defense investigator Paul Makowski with DPW snowplow driver Brian Loughran, he goes by Lucky, who, or at least we know it's a nickname also. So Brian was responsible for plowing the roadway immediately in front of the Albert residence on January 29th, 2022. During the course of that February 15th, 2022 interview, Brian Loughran definitively stated, inter alia, I think is pronounced, which means he definitively stated this and more, but he definitively stated that there was no body on the front lawn when he drove past the Albert residence at 2:30 a.m., and if there had been, he would have seen it. This is pretty definitive. All right, so number 4. Ms. Reed filed the motion filed the Rule 17 motion for DPW snowplow records. ADA Lally, so the assistant district attorney, Adam Lally, who is the one that's prosecuting this case, produced to the defense a recorded interview of Brian Loughran, who was apparently interviewed by Sergeant Yuri Buchanan and Trooper Michael Proctor on August 10, 2023, 1 year and 9 months after Mr. O'Keefe was found. A year and 9 months is the first time Lucky's being interviewed, and I want to point out the reason Lucky is being interviewed is because of Aiden Carney, Turtle Boy, found him. Aiden found the fact that this driver had plowed the road, and he went to him first and asked information about the case. But law enforcement never approached Lucky Loughran until a year and 9 months later. So just keep that in mind. And Lucky Loughran probably would not have been found if it weren't for Aiden, but I'll leave that at that. Okay, so attached here too as Exhibit A is a true and correct copy of the transcript of law enforcement interview with Brian Loughran on August 10th, 2023. Brian Loughran's statement to law enforcement is exculpatory and further supports Ms. Reed's Rule 17 motion for snowplow records. So, the defense is flat out stating Brian Loughran's testimony, his interview, is exculpatory evidence. And, yeah. So I have thoroughly reviewed all witness interviews and discovery produced in connection with this case. And this is important because it's bolded. Brian Loughran's August 10th, 2023 interview is the only witness interview that the Massachusetts State Police have ever chosen to record during the course of its 21-month-long investigation of this case. Sorry, I got a dog hair or something on my nose. So, there it is. All right. So, Brian Loughran, his interview with law enforcement is the only interview that has been recorded during their almost 2-year investigation. I mean, so why were none of the other interviews recorded? Curious. So this is signed and sworn by Alan Jackson, the attorney, and then this just states that this was this document that we're reading was given to Adam Lally, the district attorney, the assistant district attorney for the Commonwealth. All right, so Exhibit A, let's begin. It's basically a transcript, so I'm going to read through it like a script, like I'm acting, sort of, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to do voices. So I hope you can follow along while I go. Just to keep it flowing, I'm not going to stop and say, Trooper Proctor said this every single time, so just letting you know. So this was from Sergeant Yuri Buchanan to Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, who is, I would assume he's the lead detective if everything's going to Tully. All right, so on Thursday, August 10th, 2023, at approximately 11:45 a.m., Brian Loughran came into the Norfolk District Attorney's Office for a pre-scheduled interview. Brian is employed by the town of Canton with the Department of Public Works and was working during the morning hours on January 29th, 2022, plowing the Canton roadways during the heavy snow and blizzard conditions. And remember, it's contested how much snow we got, so keep that in mind, or at least how the conditions were at that time. So one of the areas that Brian was responsible for removing the snow from was the area of Fairview Road and Cedar Crest Road. The following is a transcript of the audio recorded interview. So somebody took down the transcript of this interview, and now we have it immortalized in words. All right, so we start the interview with Trooper Proctor stating, "It is August 10th, 11:45 a.m. Location is the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, 45 Shawmut Road in Canton. This is Trooper Michael Proctor along with Sergeant Yuri Buchanan, expelled, I'm not spelling that out, with the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. And this interview is with Brian Loughran, and he spells his name and gives his date of birth. Okay, why don't we start with the night of the 29th and whatever you can recall to the best of your recollection, Were you working? And kind of just walk us through what time you were called out and just everything you can recall at this point." We were called out at 2:30 in the morning. I believe it was roughly 2:30 in the morning. I arrived at the barn at 2:15. I was in my truck. I went down, proceeded to do Cedar Crest to the very end, all the way back out to Dedham Street, back towards Cedar Crest, left on to Fairview, up to Fairview, back to Chapman, and down to Spring Lane, and then back to Fairview, and repeated it again. "And the barn? What is that, and where is it located?" And he gives the address in Canton, Mass. "It's kind of like a shop?" "Yes." "Okay, so you got there around 2:15. Did you immediately go out, or do you kind of get the trucks ready? How did that kind of process in particularly work?" Most of the trucks had been done before. So once we get there, we know our routes was to get in and go, basically. "And the best of your recollection, if you would describe the weather conditions at like 2:30 a.m. and beyond that time while you were out plowing and sanding." 2:30 in the morning, it was snowing, not heavy, probably about 2 inches on the ground. It progressively got worse during the night, probably being the worst around 4:30ish. I'm not 100% time-wise, but it was really snowing at that point, and and the route you just described to us was that your assigned route for that evening?" "Yes, that's pretty much every snowstorm. That's my route." "And it's just constant kind of loop of that?" They call it Lower Cedar Crest, so it's everything from Kings Road to Chapman Street." "And are you driving a town truck, or is this a correct subcontractor's vehicle that you are operating?" "I'm operating a town vehicle." "So town of Canton DPW vehicle?" "Correct." "What kind of vehicle is it?" It is an international, and it's a 6-wheel dump. 6-wheel meaning 4 in the back, 6 axle, and correct, 2 in the front. Correct. "And were you sanding and salting as well, or just plowing?" "Just plowing at the time." "Was there anybody else with you? Are you partnered up with another truck? Are there two of you plowing the same roadway in each direction, or how does that work? Or were you by yourself in that entire vicinity?" Subcontractors were called in at 3:30 in the morning. "And the subcontractors, do they have the same routes?" "It is, or same as, it depends. Billy usually he'll give me a minimum of one subcontractor. I can have as much as 2, depending if another subcontractor isn't there for a bigger route, more important route. He'll take one of mine and just leave me with just one subcontractor." "So in addition to you, a subcontractor will be assigned to essentially help you out?" "Yes." To your assigned area?" "Correct." Do you recall the subcontractor that night? The believe I had, it was by the yard landscape, and I can't honestly remember if I had a second one. All right, that's fine. And what time did they arrive to help out? 3:30. Around 3:30? Okay. With that area, with it being January, is there like a parking ban in effect with a snowstorm coming in for the town of Canton? Do you know? Yes, there's always a parking ban from November 1st to April. Doesn't he sound like very definitive in his answers? Like he knows what he's talking about. He knows his job. He knows his route. He knows his business. Like he's very definitive. So he comes off as very credible to me. Just reading through this a little bit here. All right. Let me know what you guys think. And please don't forget to like this video, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. All right. Where did I leave off? So Sergeant Buchanan asks, and what does the parking ban mean in your understanding? My understanding, as long as if it doesn't interfere with the removal of snow, it's fine. If it is in hindering the removal of snow, then we call, and they either police will go down, knock on the door, tell them to move it, or they'll just tow it. You remembering this storm, is there a reason behind it? Like, what's the reason behind this? You remembering this day and this snowstorm? I believe it or not, I remember a lot of my stuff when it comes to work. See what I mean? Like he's very definitive. Like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to what he's doing. All right. Was this a significant snow amount fall that was forecasted that day? It was that day. I believe it was 18 inches. 18 inches of snow that was coming. Yep. Do you remember any obstructions that you had to call in the police for that was obstructing the removal of snow for you that day? There was a vehicle there around 2:30, 3 in the morning in front of the 34 Fairview. There was a vehicle? Correct. Okay. Do you recall what kind of vehicle it was? Ford Edge. A Ford Edge? Yes. And where along the property do you remember it to be parked? It was parked looking at the front door. It was to the left of the front door. So it was on the street? Correct. It was on the street. Which way was it facing? Towards Cedar Crest or Chapman? Chapman. So it's parked towards Chapman on on Fairview, and it's to the left on the front door. Left of the front door, correct. Or to the left of the driveway. It was the left of the driveway. The door was to the left of the driveway too. Okay. How many spots up from the mailbox/driveway would you remember it being parked that day or that night? I would it would say it was probably 4 or 5 spots up from the driveway. Okay, was there anybody in the vehicle? Not that I recognized. And was the vehicle running? No. Did you notice footprints in the snow around the vehicle before you plowed? No. Did you notice any footprints leading away from the vehicle towards the property, towards the driveway, towards the back of the house, towards the front of the house? Any of those? He asks so many questions in one question. It's driving me crazy. Lucky says no. Would you remember if you saw that? Something like footsteps in the snow. He says yes. Did you have to call Canton PD to have that vehicle removed, or to have them knock on the door to get the vehicle removed? Or did you on your second swipe, did you have to notify Canton PD to get the vehicle removed? No. Was the vehicle removed for any reason while you were plowing that day? Not that I'm aware of, by any other source other than them driving it away. Okay. Was that the only time you saw that Ford Edge? Yes. So on your second pass, it was there for a significant period of time. Oh, Brian's saying it was there for a significant period of time. It was there for at least an hour into the storm. At least an hour. He says this Ford Edge was there at least an hour. Right there. Right there. Can I highlight that? Where's my highlighter? Oh, it's being slow. It was at least an hour. Okay, that's not working. Whatever. All right, so it wasn't enough that it required. Whoops. Ah, man, it wants me to put in a note. Okay, so it wasn't enough that it required me to have it removed. There wasn't a lot of snow on the ground at that time, and I could just go around it. So he's saying the car wasn't in his way totally. He could just go around it, so it wasn't necessary for him to call the that car in that was blocking the street. All right, Picanic continues. And as you plow, which direction is your blade facing? And you're removing the snow as you come down the street. Like you described the routes you for us, you going on Fairview. Can you tell us how you operate, maneuver, position the plow? Plow is always ring road to the right. Ring road to the right. Always. So, and do you go with the traffic that you normally, naturally would as you plow the roadway, or do you go the opposite way and then clean it up out of the middle? Normally, I will follow the traffic rules and if we need to push back, I will go against the traffic. Okay. That day, that night, did you have to push back and go against the traffic at any point, or was it a typical pattern? Typical pattern. Okay. Did you see anything out of the ordinary that day outside of the vehicle being parked there and obstructing your initial passes? No. No? Obviously, you've been asked about this before, so it's not a secret why I'm asking you these questions. If you did see a body in the roadway or on the side of the road, would you call it in? Absolutely. But that day, you didn't see anything suspicious? No. Does that mean that you definitely that you definitely um that there was definitely nobody there? Or do you think it might have been obstructed by someone if you were driving by, or what? What's your understanding of it? I saw no body. My truck is high enough with the lights that I would have seen a body. I can't answer to say if there was something obstructing me. I didn't see anything obstructing me. Okay, that's good. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay. Um, so you obviously are aware that there's a publication about an interview, right? Yes. Okay, who published that interview? Do you know? I believe it was Aiden or Turtle Boy. Are you familiar with his platform and the blogging that he does and video YouTubing that he conducts? Yes. Okay. When was the last time you spoke to Aiden? Monday or Tuesday? I want to say it was Monday. Monday or Tuesday? It was Monday. So it was Monday? Yeah. And how did you guys communicate? He called me. He called you on your phone? Yeah, on my cell phone. Do you have your cell phone with you? Yes, I do. Can you open it up and show us the time that he called and the date? I don't have him on my phone. You don't have him on your phone? No, I don't. In your call logs, you don't have him calling you? On Monday? I do have his number on here. How come? Or I don't have his number on here. How come? I cycle my phone all the time. You delete your phone numbers? I delete and call any calls that come in. I keep it for a month and then I delete. All right, but Monday was not a month ago. Correct. So why do you think that phone number is not on your phone? I'm sure it's because I deleted it and I've got 3 days worth of phone calls on my phone right now. But you say every month you delete. What's the cycle that you delete? So I try to keep my memory, it's not as blocked up. I do go through my text. I delete my text. I go through my phones. I delete my phone numbers just to keep my memory. Okay. So it doesn't get blocked up? Nah, that's good. That's good. Do you remember the phone number that he called you from? It was a 401 number. 401? Yes, 401. Okay. And did it come up with his name or where he like the town that the number originates from? Nope. Okay. I did not, or it did not. Do you know that his phone call was coming? I did not. No, he surprised you? Correct. What were you doing when he called? I had just been released from work and I had worked the night, overnight. So he called you first thing in the morning. Yeah, probably around 7:30ish. Okay. And did he introduce himself? Did he say anything? Did he identify himself? He said he was Aiden. He didn't, say that I'm Aiden, and he proceeded with the interview. With the interview? And, what kind of questions was he asking you? He had asked, if I had been cooperating, and I said, yes, I have. He goes, who have you been interviewed by? Um, I've been interviewed by the FBI. I've been interviewed by Karen Reed's special investigative reporters or private detectives. And those two are the ones that wanted to see the route, was the private investigators. So the private investigators wanted to see the route, and correct, and drove you around, correct. FBI didn't drive you around, no, like he said, right, which what, so how is that possible that he has a transcript of your interview and he's actually misrepresenting who drove you around and who did what? I can't answer that because did he tell you that the interview was recorded? No, he did not. He did not tell you it was recorded. He did not. Oh, so okay. Was there anybody else on the line with him? Did he like three-way call you by any chance? Not that I am aware of. He didn't make you aware of that. No. Okay. How do you think he got your phone number? Or did he say how he got your phone number? Or he did not. Okay. Okay. Did you ever talk to him, communicate with him, visit his platforms in any way, follow him before, or that you might have had inadvertently shared your contact information with him that way in the past? No, but I do follow him. You do follow him. But no, I did not. Okay. There was an incident where I was in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And he commented on a post that I did, which was a simple picture of a pancake, and I said, "Holy pancakes!" I like Brian. And at that point, he contacted me through Facebook Messenger, looking to answer questions, and I said at that point, "quote I am not answering any questions regarding this matter anymore, unless it's attached to a subpoena or a badge." End quote. So when did that Facebook message happen? March of this year? Yes. Now, so he shared, I have the printouts of his blogs here. He shared those screenshots on his publication of your conversation, and those are those accurate based on as you know of your to your knowledge? Are these accurate? I'm showing you the screenshot. It's your name from Facebook Messenger here. Is that accurate? Yes. Okay, so it's a screen grab with Brian Loughran's name at the top, 13 to the left of his emoji icon profile picture with Sunday 2:22 p.m. at the top. Did he contact Aiden, aka Turtle Boy, contact you in March via Facebook Messenger? Yes, correct. Did you hear from him again until Monday? No. What changed your mind about talking to him and answering the questions in the meantime? I don't have the answer to that. Okay. Have you had a chance to review the transcript that he published about your conversation before? My supervisor sent me a screenshot of that, and right off the bat, I noticed that he states that I was with the FBI driving the route, and that's not correct. Nor did I ever say that I was with the FBI in their car going down Fairview to show him the route. I do. Okay. I said that that was the private detectives that I was with, so the transcript's not accurate. Correct in that respect. where did you meet with the FBI? The first time I met with them, it was at my residence in Canton. The second time I met with them was to actually go through the entire route, and we met at 100 Dedham Street, the John F. Kennedy parking lot. Okay, do you remember what dates these were? I don't, honestly. I know one was on a Sunday. Did they identify themselves with credentials to you? They introduced themselves as private investigators working on behalf of the defense team for Karen Reed. What about the FBI agents? The FBI agents did leave me their cards. They also left me with a subpoena for the grand jury, but was instructed not to appear on the date of the subpoena. Perfect. Okay. But the private investigators met with you 2 times to take you through the route. Correct. Okay, 1 time. One, they met me twice. Second time to do the route. Where was the first meeting? I'm sorry. At my house. At your house? And the FBI also went to your house? Correct. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I might have missed it and misunderstood. So the only time you traveled the route was with the defense team's private investigators. How many times does this guy have to say it? Correct. I'll say it with attitude if he's not going to. Okay. After Aiden called you, did you call, text, tell, communicate with anyone about the conversation? No. Have you heard from Turtle Boy since, either Facebook Messenger or text or phone call since Monday? No. And just to confirm, when he called you, he didn't advise you that you could potentially be, he's recording the conversation. Did he tell you, hey, this is being recorded? He did not tell me that it was being recorded. When did you stop plowing that area that day? That day it could have been anywhere between mid-afternoon. Mid-afternoon? So you were plowing when like the police and paramedics responded? Yeah, the road was officially blocked at that point. Mm-hmm. I noticed my supervisor that I notified my supervisor that I could not go down any further than Carriage Lane. Mm-hmm. He said just to keep it open till they're done. Okay. How long does the route take you to do the whole loop, approximately? That night, what was the average time that you would cycle from being on Fairview, do the rest of the complex, and come back to Fairview? Um, it depends. It depends on how much the subcontractor has done on the other part of the route, which are my, side streets, cul-de-sacs, and stuff like that. It depends. I mean, normally it can be 20 minutes. If I do Dedham Street, Cedar Crest to the end, go back to Dedham Street, come back down Cedar Crest and up Fairview, it could be 20 minutes. Okay, so the way I'm understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, you with the big truck do the main thoroughway, Cedar Crest, Fairview, Spring Lane. Yeah, Spring Lane, and then the subcontractors do the small side streets and the cul-de-sacs. Is that accurate or am I wrong? It's somewhat accurate. I'm responsible for 8 or 9, 10 streets. So if I get done with those 2 main roads, Cedar Crest, Spring Lane, and Fairview, I'll bounce off and I'll take care of King Road, which is a big street. I'll take care of Hunter Lane, which is what does it say? Which is off of King's Road? I don't know. I think it says off King's Road. As I'm doing Spring Lane, I'll go all the way down to the very end of Spring Lane, depending when the last time the subcontractor has hit Fall Lane, Snowflake, I will hit those again. During the specific night when the snow is coming down so hard and so heavy at such a rapid pace, wow, he's really trying to build the weather up as being really bad. What be in you've been doing this for many years. How many years have you been doing this? Oh, he totally changed questions there. 18 years, the same route. No, not the same route, but plowing for 18 years. Correct. How many years on this route? Well, this year would have not been a year I did it. We didn't do any plowing, but this year I was given a new route. Up until then, it was probably 3 or 4 years. So in the 4 years that you did the section in question, including Fairview and Cedar Crest, correct. What would be the longest turnaround time for you to come around or to come back to Fairview? It could be an hour. Could be an hour. Could be an hour. So at any point during the night, did you see a body on the side of the road? No. At any point on the night, with your lights being illuminated, you were sitting up above. Did you see anybody appear on the side of the road? No. Did you see any footprints at the point during the night, at any point during the night, coming to and from the house, the driveway, other parts of the street, any property, any tire tracks that would have been pulled up alongside where the body was found? No. At any point of the night, I know I'm repeating myself. It's important, okay? Because you have a great memory and you're telling us in specific detail what you remember. At any part of the night, did you see anybody bringing a body out there, placing it on top of the snow, or digging it up the snow and covering the body in the snow and disturbing the snow around the body? No. You did not observe or remember seeing any of that. No. Any blood trails of a body being dragged, I know you mentioned there was no car tracks pulling up to where you were plowing after the edge had left, right? Correct. So you didn't see any tire tracks. Correct. So you didn't see any tire tracks. You didn't see any blood trails being dragged, a body being dragged there, nothing. Correct. And you didn't hit the body, right? If you hit the body, you would, correct. I would have known. You would have notified. You would have notified. I would have. Known about it, and I would have known about it, and B, I would have known. What? I would have been required to stop and make a phone call to my supervisor and then the necessary phone calls to police and fire. That's protocol for the town. At any point during the night, did you hit anything at all? Mailbox, car, anything at all? I hit a basketball net that was a portable on the side of the road. It actually hit it hit the arm of my tarp that is on top of my truck. So not the plow. Okay. So you clipped something up above, correct? Oh, the net actually clips above your truck, correct? And it was protruding onto the roadway as you were plowing, correct? Your plow didn't hit it? No. Jeez, these questions. It's just, it made contact with your vehicle, correct? And did you notice anybody injured out there that night due to that clipping? No. Did you notify anybody? Yes. Okay, you did. I notified my supervisor, and what was the result of that incident? The net was turned from facing the street to facing the yard, so I turned it 90 degrees. Do you recall what street that was on? It was on Tippy Cart Road. Tippy? Yeah, Tippy Cart Road. And off of what street is that? That is off of Cedar Crest. Off of Cedar. And off of Kings Road. Okay. Tippy Cart is a half moon. It goes through Cedar Crest and comes off of Kings Road. Did you notice any other vehicles on Fairview Road parked on the side of the road other than the Ford Edge? No. What color was the Ford Edge? I can't tell you. I am colorblind. Okay. Well, was it a light color or a dark color? You just, if I were to say it was tan colored. Tan color? Okay. So that's not great if he can't tell colors, so that's not really good at identifying, but he definitively saw the car, so he can't say that he didn't, or that he's not positive on that. All right, so tan color, okay, but You are colorblind, so I am. All right. I appreciate you revealing that information with us. It's very forthcoming and, shows how honest you're being with us. I also share that information with the FBI. I shared the same information with the private investigator. Okay, thank you. Anything else that you think we're missing about the night in question? How well illuminated was heavy? How heavy in your experience the snow is coming down? How obstructed your view was as a result of the snow? If you can maybe share your recollection. Those are a lot of questions in one. I really hate all these compound questions because it's like he's trying to confuse him. The snow was heavy. It was blinding. It was not a whiteout condition, but it was coming down very heavy, very fast. Okay. What about the streetlight illumination? Are any of the neighborhood lose power? Oh, any of the neighborhood lose power at any time, so there was no streetlights? And are there streetlights, if you recall, on the street? I want to say there is one that I know of, and that's the end of the property of 34. And there just seems to be like a it's hard to describe other than to me it looks like a little wooded area that has a concrete pole with a light on it. Okay, all right. Should we I don't have any further questions unless Sergeant does. Buchanan, there's unsubstantial rumors, but we want to get to the bottom of everything. There's unsubstantial rumors, but we want to get to the bottom of everything. Why is this written so many times? Unsubstantiated rumors right now that we have learned that somebody recorded you having this conversation, or somebody prior to having Aiden call you recorded a conversation with you, asking you these same questions that Aiden asked. Do you know anything about that? Like, why do they care that people were asking questions? Unless they're trying to hide something. I don't know. Brian Loughran says, I have no idea. No idea? Okay. Had anybody else, other than the FBI and the private investigators, ask you the same question or very similar questions that Aiden was asking you? No. The transcript you said you saw the transcript. The transcript which Aiden published, are those questions, to the best of your knowledge, are those questions asked in the same order, chronologically, in time, that he asked you, or are those transposed in time? The fuck? That's what Brian's thinking, because I'm like thinking the same thing. Do you, do you want to re-reference it? Do you want to take a look? So prior to Monday, when Aiden called you, you spoke to no one before Monday, that anybody that may have asked you similar questions? No. You can leaf through the next several pages. That's the part 93 of Aiden's, also known as Turtle Boy's blog. So he's showing him Aiden's blog. Probably has printouts of his blog, and he's showing him the conversation that they had. Okay, well, these are the questions that he asked me, but I'm finding discrepancies already. Yeah, can you point out the discrepancies? Yes. No. They said as long as the police have ordered the testimony. Did they say I couldn't speak to the police? No one no one has ever told me I couldn't speak to police. I told him that I'm not talking to anyone unless it's attached to a badge or a subpoena. Did the private investigators present a badge or a subpoena? No. They introduced themselves as private investigators for the team defense team. Okay. To me, that was sufficient for me to warrant to go with them and cooperate. Okay. He's asking questions regarding a memo referring to Turtle Boy and asking questions. And we were instructed that we can give our name out. He's got that wrong. It's completely wrong. In what respect is that wrong? We were told that we could speak. We're not to answer the questions. So if he says he asks a question, our response was to be no comment. So there's multiple discrepancies in what he has written. And then you don't know what Brian says. It's a bunch of asterisks. All right. Sergeant Buchanan says, in what actually happened and what you answered when he asked you those questions. Correct. Okay, is there anything that you heard with the private investigators that you think we should know about based on your conversations with them that is important to the investigation and getting to the bottom of the truth? Really, Sergeant Buchanan and Trooper Proctor just are digging and fishing for information for, in my opinion, this is my opinion, they're digging for information on what Brian knows, what Brian saw. Did he see them moving a body? Did they see him? Did they see somebody getting out of the fort edge? Like, that's what he's looking for. He wants to know if Brian can give any kind of witness statement against, like, the Alberts or the McCabe's. So I think that's what they're fishing for. And they also want to know what Aiden knows, and they want to know what the FBI knows, because it infuriates them that they don't know what's going on. That's what I think, that they don't have the control. All right, where was I? Brian says, I have stated all along for whatever reason, the only thing out of the ordinary that I saw the entire night was the ford edge. Okay. So the only thing out of the ordinary that night was the ford edge. You didn't see, even after the police arrived, you still had not seen the body. And you said you were already at Fairview when you saw the police at the scene? Correct. But you still had not seen the body? Correct. Did you ever see the body out there even when the police were on scene? No. My God, how many times does he have to answer the same freaking question? How far away were you from where the body was found and where you were parked, looking towards the scene? How far away were you? When they originally stopped, I was on Cedar Crest trying to turn left onto Fairview. And was not able to. Okay. And what time of day was this? Early morning. I couldn't tell you, honestly, what time. Was it daylight outside or was it still dark? It was still dark. Still dark. So it was before sunrise, before dawn. Okay. But you, from your vantage point, you didn't see the body. Correct. Did you ever see a vehicle on that street driving? Did you encounter any traveling vehicles on that street that morning? There were several. I mean, throughout the entire storm. So several vehicles you saw on Fairview. Correct. Did any vehicle stop at the home while you were plowing? When I saw him, I was going the opposite direction, so I would say no. So just so I have it correct, you saw vehicles traveling on Fairview, but they were going the opposite direction. So you have no knowledge of them stopping in front of the in front of Fairview, 34 Fairview address, correct? Do you recall what types of... Brian says correct. Sergeant Buchanan says, do you recall what types of vehicles they were? I do not. Okay, when you stopped, were not able to take a left onto Fairview on Cedar Crest that early morning of the 29th of September, what were the weather conditions at that point? Snowing very heavily. Very heavily. When would you say the snow became very heavy? I would say around 4:35 a.m. That's when you observed the fort edge. Was it accumulating snow on top of it? Was it covered? No, it was not. It was not. It was not. If it had maybe an inch or two at the time, if that. The last time you saw the fort edge there, had it accumulated any snow on top of it? No. Do you feel where the fort edge went to after it left? Did you see where the fort edge went to after it left the front of... No. Fairview. No. You didn't see in the driveway, in the neighbor's driveway, you didn't see any tracks where the direction it traveled. No, I did not. Okay, and was the Ford Edge one of the vehicles traveling to the best of your knowledge? No. Okay, Trooper Proctor. I'm good. All right, Mr. Loughran. Thank you so much for your time. It's now 12, and it's 12:25 on the dot. We're going to conclude the interview. Trooper Proctor, along with Sergeant Buchanan, with the Norfolk District Attorney's Office here. Present with us, Brian. Wait, did they go again? Brian Loughran. Brian, before... Oh, okay, so they made him spell his name again. Brian, before walking out, you remembered something and you want to volunteer certain information to further support additional discrepancies with accounts that have been discussed and described and documented and produced on Turtle Boy's platforms. Can you further share with us and this recording what you stated to us prior to leaving the office here? It states in the transcripts that I was presented with GPS information from the FBI. That is utterly false. I was never given any information or documentation from the FBI other than a subpoena to the grand jury. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. You additionally said that there was other discrepancies during an interview about your practices plowing the roads. Can you go into detail discussing these and how you learned about those? I was asked by the private investigators from the defense team for Karen Reed what that I stated. That stated I said that I ring row to the left. Okay, so the ring row to the right is what he says, but the defense team is saying he does it to the left. I can't ring row to the left in the middle of the road. I would bury the other side of the road. Again, it's always ring row to the right. So when you discussing row, can you go into detail, tell us about that? We're not in the business, so what does ring rowing mean in your profession? So when you are plowing and the snow comes off your plow, it leaves a row of snow, and it's called ring row. So it's a continuous row of snow. If you put it to the left, it is adding an additional amount of snow on the ground that's there, plus coming from my plow. So ring rowing to the left, which side of the blade as you're moving forward is further ahead? The right hand side. And ring rowing to the right, which part of the blade is ahead? The left side of the blade. Okay, thank you for that explanation. And you said they presented you with a, that was your watch, okay? I apologize, no worries. That's fine, it's good. So you said they presented you with the statement you said. Can you just walk us through how that whole thing transpired? Just to clarify, they being the defense team's private investigators. So we initially had an interview at some certain address. You're my first interview with the defense team's private investigators. All right, did they audio record that interview like we're recording today? No. Okay, so it was just basically what they asked you. You responded what they presented you as a fact. You responded to, testifying or denying that that's accurate. Correct. And then you presented the statement that they claimed you made. Correct. And what was that statement? They stated that I stated the route on Fairview with my plow ring rowing to the left-hand side, and I said that is incorrect. I always ring row to the right to prevent additional snow from my plow going on top of whatever snow is on the ground, making the left-hand side of the road unpassable. Okay, so that's an incorrect statement, and you never did that. No, the night of January 20. He wants everybody to know, I know how to plow. Stop telling me I don't know how to plow. I know how to plow, and whatever they're saying, they're plowing incorrectly. So I know my plowing business. Don't ask, don't question my plowing expertise. All right, so that's an incorrect statement, and you never did that. No. The night of January 29th. No. And at the time of the 29th, was the truck you were wanting or operating equipped with GPS location information to track your all town vehicles are GPS? I have been told, which is normally not something I would know, but have been told that the GPS at the time of the snow were down, and they were down at the repeater, not on the trucks. Whatever that means. I see. So the system had a problem. Your individual truck did not have an issue, and you learned this the night of, or did you learn that the GPS had been down for a while? I learned that the GPS was down about 2 weeks ago and had no idea GPS was down. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you're remembering that you think would be important to share and clarify with us today? No. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. And this concludes the follow-up questions with Mr. Loughran at 12:36, and that is signed by Yuri Buchanan. And that is the end of that. What do you guys think? I think they were fishing for information. It really sounds like that. Especially with the whole Turtle Boy thing. Like, it really makes him angry that Turtle Boy found him, I think. To me, it seems that way. Let me know what you guys think. I love to hear your guys' opinions, and if you've been, let me know if you have been following this case, or if this is the first time that you've heard about this case. I really would love to get your feedback and responses, and create content based on that. So please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Come on.